You don't have to beat me, Michael. You just have to try and keep up. Michael! Over here. Come on, Michael. How far are you willing to go, Michael?
What are you doing, Chieffer? You up? What's up, guys? Oldhead Mike here. Thanks so much for coming to another episode of Beyond the Tapes. First, I want to say thanks so much for watching my horror stuff that I put out. If you're on my channel, you notice I probably do a lot of other music stuff, but I've made sure that it's easy for you guys to navigate. If you go to my playlists, I've got all of my horror stuff under one playlist. I've got Beyond the Tapes and Streaming Terror all in their own playlist, so it's super easy to find. You don't have to worry about scrolling through my videos, trying to skip past the music stuff if that's not what you're into. But anyways, thanks for subscribing. So tonight's flick is Lost Boys. This is a super iconic movie. Pretty sure every single one of you has probably seen this, so I'm going to go into a bunch of spoilers. I picked this movie because the director, Joel Schumacher, fortunately passed away this week, so I wanted to kind of do a tribute to him by reviewing his movie. Because it's one of my all-time favorites. In fact, I was named after Michael, born in '87, so right when this movie came out. Anyways, so this is directed by Joel Schumacher, rest in peace, who's done a multitude of great films. My favorites from this dude would be 8mm, Flatliners, another Kiefer Sutherland film, and A Time to Kill, which is another one of my all-time favorites. Really great film if you haven't seen that. A lot about racism, very relevant still today. Written by Jan Fisher and James Jeremias, who went on to write the 2 sequels to this, which I think I've seen one of them, but I don't remember any of it. And the screenplay was written by Jeffrey Boehm, who also wrote the screenplays for the 3 Lethal Weapon movies, which lends a lot to the comedy in this film. Film features several great actors, including the always awesome and always together Corey Haim and Corey Feldman, rest in peace Corey Haim, Diane Wiest from Edward Scissorhands, and Edward Herman from My Boyfriend's Back, and The Town That Dreaded Sundown's remake, Jamie Gertz from Twister, Billy Wirth from 1993 Body Snatchers. I did a review for that as well. Alex Winter from Bill and Ted, though he only gets 1 or 2 lines in this movie. But we all know the real best actor here. Timmy Capello, essentially the godfather of retrowave and synthwave veterans, The Midnight and Gunship. These bands probably would not exist if it were not for this man and this scene. Okay, the real reason we're here. Kiefer Sutherland and Jason Patric. Woo! The chemistry from these two is insane. They put Jamie Gertz in here as, I guess, the love interest for Jason Patric, but kind of unnecessary because honestly, the real sexual tension is between Kiefer Sutherland and Jason Patric, Michael and David, their characters. It gets pretty fucking steamy. Seriously, my favorite thing about this film is that there's this atmosphere. It's almost indescribable. It's just it feels sinister and dark, but yet sexual and enticing. I guess it's kind of like the essence. They basically took the essence of what it is to be a vampire and layered it throughout the whole movie. If this were to ever be remade, honestly, I wouldn't mind Jamie Gertz's character being cut. Sorry, Jamie, it's not your fault. But have Michael fall in love with David? Anyways, before it gets too hot, let's get to the tape. Alright, so here's the box art. My box is in not that great a shape. A little bit here, think my kid tried to take a bite out of this. I don't know. He likes to slip away with my tapes when I'm not looking. Pulls one from the stack and then like starts chewing on it. Anyways, so tagline is sleep all day, party all night. It's fun to be a vampire. Quotes here: scary from Toronto Star, sleek, sexy from Newsweek, which I've never thought of a movie as sexy really until I saw this one. And then hip from New York Times. So here's the side. You got Kiefer Sutherland right here. Box design was 1991. Sorry for the glare here. The movie came out in 87, so this is not too long after the movie came out that this box was printed. Surprisingly. Let's see. It says a hip comic twist on a classic vampire stories. New York Times. So the synopsis here. Sam and Michael are all American teens with American interests. Sam likes comic books. Older brother Michael likes girls. But after they move with their mother to peaceful Santa Carla, California, their relationship mysteriously begins to change. Sam still likes comic books. Michael now likes ghouls. Get it? Instead of girls, it's ghouls. Just wait till mom finds out. Want a movie with horror, humor, and rock and roll? Then sink your teeth into the stylish with it horror comedy The Lost Boys. Filmmaker Richard Donner, whose Lethal Weapon brought a manic twist to buddy cop pictures, teams with director Joel Schumacher and producer Harvey Bernard to give a right now razor-tooth intensity to vampire tradition in this must-see shocker packed with heart-pounding terror, rib-tickling laughs, and body-gyrating rock from INXS, Jimmy Barnes, Lou Graham, Echo and the Bunnymen, and others. It goes over the cast here, which I've already done. So stake out your evening's entertainment and thrill to vampirism at its hippest, funnest, and scariest. Party with the Lost Boys. Sorry I can't get this to focus very well. I don't know why it's doing. But there you go. Lost Boys. Let's review the movie. Alright, your plot here is standard horror trope of family moves to a new town and discovers that it's infested with vampires. The difference here is that the film doesn't directly rely on the horror aspect of it. In fact, the real scary stuff doesn't even happen until the third act. Instead, it focuses on Michael's interest in David's girlfriend, open relationship. I don't know. They don't really go into that. They end up banging either way. I guess technically you could say she's more of a familiar at this point, though later she does get turned. So Michael's interest in this girl turns into a rivalry between him and David, which then turns into Michael being initiated essentially into this gang of vampires. Michael realizes what's going on and decides to stop it with the help of some kids that run a local comic book store. This is where the film changes moods and becomes more horror. So before the third act, there's a few deaths, but they're all off-screen. These people are being taken from some mysterious force in the sky. They swoop down and steal them. It's the vampires. They just don't show it. It's more spooky, I guess. But once Michael finally enlists the help of these kids, Corey Haim and his other friend from the comic book store, they sneak into the vampire's lair. They stake poor Bill S. Preston Esquire. And then one of the coolest aspects of this film's lore happens. Bloody goo just spurts all over the place. Gallons of it. In this universe, vampires, when they get killed, they die in seemingly random ways. Blood spurts everywhere, they explode. This universe also uses the vampire rule that if you kill the one who turned you, or the leader vampire before you fully turn into a vampire, you turn back human. So Michael and his comrades are fighting the rest of the vampires after they come after them for killing Bill in his sleep. They get stalked in the home. There's lots of scares, lots of jump scares, cool stuff happens. Michael finally kills David, but he doesn't turn human. What the hell's going on? So it turns out that his mother's new boyfriend is the actual leader, and a pretty cool twist. Apparently he was grooming the mom to become the Vampire Coven's den mother. Weird. Creepy. All hope seems lost till the fucking grandpa drives his truck through the wall and sends a spike right through the leader's chest and saves the day. Thanks, Grandpa. Grandpa was a seemingly normal dude throughout the whole movie. Apparently he knew about vampires the entire time, and ends the movie pretty abruptly with this great line.
One thing about living in Santa Carla I never could stomach. All the damn vampires.
So the effects in this movie are incredible. I'd like to think also that the vampire effects here, the vampire makeup, lends a lot of inspiration towards Buffy the Vampire Slayer's vampires. Very similar. The believability of Corey Haim and Jason Patrick being brothers, they do a great job. There's great chemistry there. There's a great chemistry between Jason Patrick and Kiefer Sutherland. The atmosphere, like I said, is incredible. It's definitely some creepy parts. All these things, and somehow the soundtrack is even better than all of those. Soundtrack is absolutely memorable. If you don't get chills every time you hear Cry Little Sister, something's wrong with you. You might be a vampire. The weirdest part of this movie is that I always see it marketed, even on the case, that it's a horror comedy. But I would argue that a good majority of horror movies have the same amount of comedy. It's not overtly comedic. It's not a focus of the film, but then again, the horror isn't really a focus of the film either, so it's not a horror or comedy standalone, so I guess saying it's a horror comedy is a way of just finding a good place for it. I don't know, it's a vampire movie, and it's one of the best ones. I also see it compared to Fright Night a lot, which Fright Night feels a lot more 80s. Fright Night feels a lot more dated. However, the vampire effects in Fright Night are amazing and terrifying also, but it's a lot more toned down on the sexuality aspect of the vampires, except for the dance scene in that movie. That's great. It relies a lot more on the horror and the scares, which it does really well. But so while Fright Night has better vampire effects and scarier scenes, Lost Boys just has groove, atmosphere, music, style, panache. Like, I don't know, simply iconic. 10 out of 10. Anyways, so thanks guys for coming to another Beyond the Tapes. Appreciate you guys watching this. If you haven't seen Lost Boys, please go see it. Please go find it somewhere. Go rent it. Amazing, iconic film. If you've got any suggestions on some movies that I should pick to review, leave them down in the comments and I'll put them on my list. Please give me a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. Till next time, this is Oldhead Mike signing off, reminding you, you're never too old for this, and I'll see you guys out there beyond the tapes.